Imagine handing a beautifully wrapped, incredibly thoughtful souvenir to your new CEO. You smile, you bow slightly, and you speak.
Right.
But because you chose a verb ending in, like, one specific syllable instead of another, you didn't just give them a gift. Linguistically speaking, you just patted your CEO on the head, ruffled their hair, and poured kibble into their bowl.
Oh, man. Yeah. It is the ultimate social nightmare. And the worst part is, if you are a native English speaker, your brain isn't even wired to see the trap you just stepped in.
No, not at all.
Because in English, the physical transfer of an object is just, well, it's just physical.
Yeah.
You give a coffee to your spouse, you give a report to your boss, you give a bone to your dog.
The verb to give just never changes.
Exactly. It's always the same.
Which brings us to the mission of today's deep dive. We are looking at excerpts from this really fascinating article titled The Art of Giving, Japanese Hierarchy and Verbs.
Such a good piece.
Yeah, and we're exploring how the seemingly simple act of giving a gift is actually this high-stakes exercise in social cartography.
I love that term, social cartography.
Right, because the Japanese language forces you to map out your exact social coordinates. So your status, your intimacy, your psychological distance before you even open your mouth.
Yeah, and that concept of mapping things out is really the foundational premise of our source material here. In Japanese, giving is not just a physical action. It cannot be separated from the social reality of the people involved.
So you aren't just describing, like, the movement of a box from point A to point B?
Not at all. The verb you choose to describe the giving is a direct, unavoidable reflection of the social hierarchy. It is entirely about relative status between the giver and the receiver.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because mastering these rules isn't just about passing a grammar test, you know? It's about navigating a completely different social reality.
It really is. The cognitive load for a learner is massive.
I mean, think about it. We're talking about a social operating system where a grammatical error is actually a profound social transgression. You are fundamentally misidentifying where you stand in the universe relative to the person right in front of you.
Right, and native speakers process this in fractions of a second, obviously. But if we slow the machinery down, we can really see how the language compartmentalizes society.
So where do we start?
Well, before we get into the cultural philosophy, we need to lay out the actual tools of the trade. The text lays out 3 specific verbs used for giving, and they are separated into 3 distinct tiers.
And these are based entirely on the status of the receiver, right?
Exactly. So let's start with the baseline tier, the standard form.
Okay, so this is if I'm handing a book to my best friend, or maybe a colleague who sits next to me and has the exact same job title, we're on level ground.
Yep, for that level ground, the standard verb is Ageru. The source uses a really straightforward example. I gave my friend the book.
Okay.
In Japanese, that translates to Tomodachi Nihon o Ahita.
Let me make sure I'm following. Tomodachi is friend.
Right, friend. And Hana is book.
Yeah.
And Ajita is just the past tense of Ageru. Because you and your friend occupy the same horizontal plane in the social hierarchy, that standard neutral form is perfectly appropriate.
Okay, that feels intuitive enough. It sounds like choosing the right verb is kind of like choosing the right outfit for an event.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Like, Ageru is your everyday jeans and t-shirt for hanging out with friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But society is rarely a flat horizontal plane.
Right. So if I take that exact same book and hand it to my department head or a senior executive or, I don't know, an elderly stranger I'm trying to help on the street, I assume my jeans and t-shirt verb, Ageru, suddenly feels entirely inappropriate.
It becomes deeply insufficient. When the power dynamic shifts upward, the baseline has to shift with it. So you move to the humble or polite form, which is the verb Sashiageru.
Sashiageru. So this is like putting on a tailored suit for a formal gala.
Perfect analogy, yeah. By using this verb, you are actively acknowledging that the recipient occupies a higher rung on the ladder. You are linguistically lowering your head to them.
Wow. Okay, so if Sashiageru is for superiors and Ageru is for equals, that implies the existence of a tier for those below you.
Yes, it does.
Which brings us back to my opening nightmare about the CEO and the dog food.
Sadly, yes. That brings us to the third tier, the casual or lower form. The verb is Yaru.
Yaru.
And the source notes this is utilized for entities significantly lower on the hierarchy. So we are talking about animals, plants, or sometimes younger family members and children.
Plants.
Yeah. If you want to say, I'll water the flowers, the literal translation of the thought process is closer to, I give water to the flowers.
Which translates to what?
Hana, ni mizu, o yaru. So yaru is throwing on your gardening clothes, to use your analogy.
That makes the stakes so incredibly clear. It's not just about what you are doing, but who you are doing it to.
Exactly.
And actually, I noticed something specific in the text about the directionality of all three of these verbs. They are strictly outward facing, right?
Yes, that is a crucial mechanical rule from the text. Ageru, Sashiageru, and Yaru only apply when the action is moving away from the speaker or away from their inner circle towards someone else.
So you are always the origin point.
Right. If the direction reverses, like if someone is giving something to you that triggers an entirely different set of hierarchical verbs, they are never used for receiving.
Which is a whole other deep dive for another day, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
But all right, sticking to the outward motion. Knowing these three verbs conceptually is one thing. But the text gets into how native speakers actually feel when these words are used.
Yeah, a consequence of mixing them up.
Right. And the author introduces a concept that I thought was just brilliant. They call it the BGM of language.
The background music. It really is a fantastic way to understand the visceral reaction people have to language.
Yeah. So imagine you're watching like a sweeping romantic movie scene, two people leaning in for a kiss in the rain.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
But the BGM playing underneath it is this frantic, terrifying horror movie soundtrack.
It's completely ruining the mood.
Exactly. The cognitive dissonance makes you squirm in your seat because the music just doesn't match the reality of the scene. The source explains that using the wrong-giving verb creates that exact same jarring, wrong background music effect for the listener.
What's fascinating here is how the text applies this BGM concept to a real-world scenario. A delicate one, too.
Oh, right. Showing respect to a superior spouse.
Yes. So imagine you've bought a gift for your department manager's wife. In English, you just say, I bought this for the manager's wife. And maybe your tone of voice does the heavy lifting to sound respectful.
But in Japanese, the BGM is baked into the grammar itself.
Exactly. The correct background music here requires a sweeping, elegant orchestral arrangement. The text provides the phrasing for this. Bucho no okasama ni sashiageru to omimashite.
Okay, that sounds very formal. Break that down for us.
Sure. So Bucho is the department manager. Okusama is a highly elevated, respectful term for someone else's wife.
Got it.
And Sashiageru is a form of our polite verb, Sashiageru.
The tailored suit verb.
Right. The entire sentence is harmonized to broadcast extreme respect.
Okay, but wait, let me push back on this for a second. Because if Yaru is used for watering plants or feeding pets, what happens if you accidentally use Yaru when giving a gift to your boss?
Oh, the background music instantly shifts from a respectful orchestra to, like, clown music. Or worse, to an insult.
Yikes.
The source is explicitly clear with its warning on this. Using Yaru for a boss sounds exactly like you are treating them like a pet. You aren't just making a vocabulary mistake.
You're linguistically stripping them of their dignity.
Yes, exactly.
Well, keep this in mind, listeners. If you ever find yourself handing a souvenir to a CEO in Tokyo, getting the BGM wrong could end your career before it even starts.
It perfectly illustrates why learning vocabulary in a vacuum is just so dangerous.
Okay, so we understand the hierarchy, superiors versus equals versus plants, and we understand the BGM. But the text goes even deeper. Because life isn't just a simple vertical ladder, right?
Right, it's a lot messier than that.
How do Japanese speakers handle complex social situations where different social circles overlap? Because that feels like the deepest cultural layer here.
It really is.
Yeah.
To understand how they navigate that, we have to look at arguably the most foundational cultural concept in the source material. And that is the divide between Uchi and Soto.
Uchi and Soto, so inside and outside.
Precisely. Uchi represents your inside circle. This is your intimate world, yourself, your family, your very close colleagues.
And Soto?
Soto represents the outside circle, society at large, clients, superiors, and strangers. The text explains that when you're giving to someone in the Soto category who possesses higher status, using the humble Sashiageru isn't just polite.
It's completely mandatory.
Mandatory. You are acknowledging their high rank and their distance from your inner circle.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. What if those worlds collide?
What do you mean?
Like, what if I'm talking to an outsider, someone who is Soto, but I'm talking about giving something to someone inside my inner circle, my Uchi, like my own kids?
Oh, that is the perfect structural question.
Because, do I use Ageru because I'm talking about my kids? Or do I use Sashiageru because I'm talking to my boss and I need to sound polite?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, It reveals a fascinating mechanism of Japanese social relations that the text calls family humility.
Family humility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The text specifically addresses this exact collision. When you are speaking to outsiders, especially superior outsider, you systematically lower the status of your entire Uchi group to show humility to the listener.
Wait, really? So you lower your own family status?
Yes, that is exactly the mechanism. You elevate the listener by depressing your own inner circle. So, according to the source, if you are telling your boss about giving pocket money to your kids, you do not use the standard Ageru.
Don't tell me you use the plant verb.
You use the lowest possible form. You use Yaru.
Wow. For your own children?
Yes, the text gives the translation. Kodomo ni otoshidama o yarimasu.
Okay, let's hear the syllables on that one.
Sure. Kodomo means children. Otoshidama is the traditional pocket money gift given at New Year's. And yarimasu is just the polite conjugation of yaru, the lowest tier giving verb.
So even though yarimasu has that polite ending, the masu part, the root verb itself is still the one you use for feeding a dog.
Because you are speaking to an outsider. You are basically communicating a subtext that says, compared to your elevated status, my family and I are so incredibly low that I use the plant watering verb to describe giving money to my own kids.
That is just wow.
It is a deeply ingrained performance of modesty. You are managing the background music not just for the physical action of giving the money, but for the benefit of the audience hearing the story.
The cognitive gymnastics required to pull that off in casual conversation are staggering. I mean, you have to calculate who you are talking to, their status relative to you, who the recipient of the gift is, their status, and the recipient's status relative to the person you are currently speaking with.
Yeah, it's a lot of social math.
All before you even finish the sentence.
But again, for a native speaker, it isn't an exhausting math problem. The social operating system just automatically selects the right verb. It just exposes how intricate the social fabric really is.
So what does this all mean? If we zoom out and look at everything we've synthesized from the deep dive today, we've got the baseline of Ageru, the high respect of Sashiageru, the casual drop of Yaru, and that brilliant dance of Uchi and Soto.
Right.
The main takeaway is that learning a language isn't just about swapping out English words for Japanese ones. It is about downloading a completely different social operating system where hierarchy, respect, and spatial distance are baked into every single sentence.
Absolutely. And this raises an important question for us to consider, I think.
Oh, what's that?
Well, knowledge is only valuable when it's applied, right?
Yeah.
Examining a framework as explicit as Japanese gives us a mirror to hold up to our own culture. We might not have strict hierarchical verbs in English.
Right, giving is just giving.
But we absolutely have our own background music playing at all times. Think about the tone of voice you use when you hand a coffee to your manager versus when you hand a coffee to your sibling.
Oh, that's so true. I definitely changed my cadence.
We all do. We change our tone, we add please, we use titles to show deference, or we use slang to establish intimacy. We are constantly broadcasting our own social calculations, even in English.
We just do it with different tools.
Exactly.
Man, it makes you realize how much invisible labor we do every single day just existing around other people.
It's the silent machinery of society, working in the background of every single interaction.
And that brings us right back to where we started today, handing over that beautifully wrapped box. We established that in English, giving is giving, and it seems delightfully straightforward.
On the surface, sure.
But if the Japanese language forces you to constantly calculate social status and relationship boundaries before you even open your mouth, how does speaking a language without these built-in hierarchy markers, like English, fundamentally change the way you value and interact with the people around you?
That's the real question.
Are we more equal? Or are we just ignoring the invisible ladders we're all standing on? Keep your ears tuned to the background music playing in your own conversations today. You might be surprised by what you hear. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.